Hello travelers, Boardman21 here, and today's build for 0.8.3 is the Warpath Void Knight, and here will be echoing Warpath behind us. And as you can see in the gameplay, the echo that's spinning behind us, we have a chance to proc it every second as long as we've moved more than 4 meters and we have been warpathing for more than 2 seconds. So every second you'll have a chance for that. We have the max chance, which is 80% chance every second. And as you can see, they are also spinning much faster than us, and we've built into extra damage when an echo echoes. So what that means is our echoes are dealing more damage than us, and we have multiple of them, which is really nice. Now, if you spin in a close enough circle, basically as if you were spinning around the training dummy, it is possible to have them attack a single target with multiple warpaths, which now allows you to take out single target rares and bosses extremely quickly, or at least much faster than we were able to do before. The hit damage for this build is also much higher than it used to be. Not like crazy high, not ridiculous numbers, but your Echo Warpaths are hitting for about twice what you could do in the previous patch, which is really cool, and you can really build into that void. The third thing, the skill looks amazing. It looks so much better having the void visual, so it's fun to play, it looks good, and you're going to have a lot of fun with it. So let's go ahead and get into the skills, the interactions, and just how this build works. For skills, I'm running Sigils of Hope, Warpath, Smite, Anomaly, and Lunge. For Sigils of Hope, we have this set up for added void damage for our attacks. We'll also have increased armor and increased damage. We've got 4 points in Empowering Sigils, 1 point in Last Wish so that we have a chance to have it summoned for free on kill, so we won't always have to be manually summoning it. 3 points in Decree of Flame gives us 3 additional fire damage on top of the 4 base, so 7 added fire damage per active sigil. 1 point in Sigils of Despair changes that flat into void and gives us 15% increased void damage. So you'll get 7 flat void and 15% increased void damage per point, or per sigil that you have active. We have 2 points in Iron Sigils for more armor per active sigil, 3 points in Enduring Hope to make them last longer, 2 points in Invigorate for increased healing, 3 points in Quiet Mind so that we have some good mana efficiency with them to make them a little cheaper, and 1 point in Polygram to get +1 maximum so we can have 4 instead of 3. For Warpath, we do have 3 additional levels to this. 1 is on a very common drop belt. We had 3 of them drop in just a 5-hour stream last night, and then we also have +2 on the chest. You don't have to have the extra points, but they do help the build come together to do a little more damage or to generate a little bit more mana. With it, we're doing Void, and we're trying to have them echo. So we'll get into that, and I'll explain that in details after we go through the rest of the points. We've got 3 points in Iron Reach for increased area. This is 2 points you don't have to have if you don't have the plus level on chest. 2 points in Ruling Steel. 1 point in Cyclone of War gives us base critical strike chance since we are using a sword. Building into this will definitely increase your crit chance so you can get closer to 100% if you don't have that much. 2 points in Battlemaster's Blade is more increased area. Of course, you don't have to put 2 points in here. 1 is just fine. Dark Nexus, with 3 points in here, we get 21 mana. You can survive off just 2 points in here, so this is where you can take a lot of those points out if you don't have any of the plus levels or you want to put more into the base crit chance. 2 points in Unchained and 1 point in Reckless Spin makes it to where we have no channeling cost, so it's free and we can channel forever. 4 points in Void Spiral adds a lot of melee void damage for us. That's doubled since we are using a two-hander weapon. Again, you can take a couple points out of here. Not going to be a huge hit. 1 point in Echo Knight. Okay, so this is where the echoing warpaths will happen. So while spinning, you deal increased void damage and have a chance for each second to create an echo at a recent location that uses warpath on the spot for 2 seconds. The chance is equal to twice your chance for skills to echo. If you've taken all the passives that I have, you have a 40% chance to echo. It's doubled. You have 80% chance every second for an Echo Warpath to happen. Now, you can only create a Warpath Echo if you have been spinning for at least 2 seconds and have traveled at least 4 meters. In other words, you need to keep moving and you have to do Warpath channeling for at least 2 seconds for it to start proccing. We have 1 point in Apocalypse World. This gives us Time Rot chance on hit. Bleed and Ignite chance is also converted into Time Rot chance. We have Maul of the Deep, which gives us hit damage per stack of Time Rot on the enemy. Now, the enemy can have up to 12 stacks. You can do 15% damage per stack that's on them for a total of 180% more damage at max stacks. Against rares and bosses, this is very effective when you hit that max stack. For Smite, we have this set up so it'll proc when we lunge. It just gives us a little bit of attack speed. That's really all that it's doing for us. It will also add in some melee fire damage. We've got 1 point in Blinding Flash, 2 points in Piety, 1 point in Order of Lagan, 1 point in Unbalanced Scale, 3 points in Wandering Bolts, 3 points in Soothing Balm, 1 point in Holy Wave, 4 points in Righteous Fury, which gives us some melee fire damage, and 4 points in Righteous Flurry, which will give us 20% increased attack and cast speed. You'll have 100% uptime of this as long as you lunge every 4 seconds, which means when it comes off of cooldown. For Anomaly, we have this set up as an insta-cast skill, and really all it's going to do for us is give us more crit chance so that we can work towards that 100% crit build. We've got 4 points in Emission and 1 point in Borrowed Time to turn it into an insta-cast skill. 1 point in Void Touched, 1 point in Immediacy, 1 point in Time Bubble, 4 points in Temporal Mastery so the time bubble will last longer, 1 point in Time Lord so that the time bubble will come with us and follow us where we go, 1 point in Lingering Memory so when the time bubble does disappear we keep the benefits for 2 more seconds, and those benefits are, with 1 point in Manipulation, we'll get some increased attack speed, and 5 points in Decimation, we get a 150% increased critical strike chance. Now, the thing about this is it costs mana. It costs 20 mana here, so we have it on instacast, so while we are warpathing, we will use it, it will consume our mana, and that is why in Warpath we put points in the Dark Nexus up on the top left, so that we can get mana back every 3 seconds. For Lunge, we have Lunge set up to proc Smite. It's obviously still going to be our movement skill as long as there's a target, and then we also have it set up to be invulnerable and have 100% block while lunging. Don't know why you'd need both of those, it kind of seems like a waste, but we have 1 point in Warriors Renewal, 2 points in Endless Will, 2 points in Ambuscade, 1 point in Double Strike, 2 points in Initiates Onslaught, 3 points in Cool of the Week for a 15% kill threshold, 4 points in Holy Precision means that we have a 100% chance to cast a Smite when we hit a target with Lunge. We have 1 point in Down Charge, 4 points in Juggernaut Dash for 100% block chance while lunging, and 1 point in Unstoppable, so we are invulnerable while lunging. Now, I really hate that you have to put 4 points into block chance just to become invulnerable, because what that basically means is why you don't need the block chance anymore. But we'll get into that later when we do the skill discussion on Lunge. For passives, in the base Sentinel class, we have 8 points in Juggernaut, 8 points in Fearless, 5 points in Armor Clad. This will make us take 10% less damage from nearby enemies. We have no points in the Forge Guard, 15 points in the Paladin to unlock the Sigils of Hope, with 8 points in Defiance and 7 points in Valor. And then we have 77 points in the Void Knight, our Mastered class, with 6 points in Temporal Corruption, 8 points in Void Blade, 6 points in World Eater, 1 point in Void Corruption, 6 points in Wrought Ripples, 4 points in Woe, 4 points in Singular Purpose, 10 points in Eternal Form, 5 points in Void Aegis, 5 points in Echoing Strikes, 10 points in Time Legion, 1 point in Avatar of Regret, and 15 points in Dread. For idols, items, uniques, and blessing, there's only one unique on this build, and you don't have to have it. So, we did find the Thorn Slinger, which 3 of these fell to me in just 5 hours of streaming. You definitely don't have to have it, but the +1 to physical level of skills, which will give you +1 to Lunge, and +1 to Warpath, which is pretty nice, and the fact that it gives you some increased movement speed, it felt pretty good to put it on, but you don't have to have it. You can definitely do a belt with increased health and whatever else you'd like to have on there. As for items, I'm just going to hover over all of them really quick. We do have a tier 7 roll on our weapon, which is what's made it do a lot of melee void damage. Tier 5 is going to do you just fine. You can make up for that by switching some of your passives around from area of effect to added void damage inside of the skill tree. You're not going to do much less damage than I do in the video. The increased echo damage when a skill echoes is really going to make the Echo Warpaths do way more damage than you, and it's really going to help you with single targets. And then again, just going to hover over the rest of these. This build planner will be in the description below as well as in the written guide. For idols, there's a bunch of different idols you can run, but increased Warpath area is always nice, and then the 1x4s, if you can have 2 of them that give you increased echo damage when a skill is echoed, and increased melee void damage, 90% max rolled, 2 of these are going to be really powerful for the build to make you do more damage. For blessings, there's literally nothing special that you need. Take whatever you want. You need critical strike avoidance, go for it. You need endurance, go for it. You need armor, go for it. There's really nothing that's mandatory in this. There's really no best in slot. You could argue some things, but really just put in there what you need that you weren't able to get on gear. Alright, for the character sheet, we have just over 2200 health. We have capped resistances except for poison and void. Necrotic's pretty close. Remember, we do lose a bit of this elemental when we start channeling Warpath, so when we use it, we'll be just slightly undercapped on lightning, but the other two will still be good. The reason for that is the 30% we lose for the -6 channeling cost, but you'll still be alright. We got about 26% armor, but this can go up as you have sigils active. For damage, we have 300% or so critical strike multiplier, and then we have about 350% increased void damage. For defense, we haven't capped the critical strike avoidance on this build, so there is room for improvement on defense. We also have not capped endurance. You can definitely get some better gear, better blessings than what I have on this character. It is nowhere near min-maxed. Alright, for how to play the build and the skill rotation, I like to put Anomaly on autocast. And then the way that I'll have it is we will just use Warpath. That's it. You just keep spinning. So you just spin in a circle, and then as you can see, we can get multiple Warpaths going on the training dummy, and you can see that we're critting for 30k damage here, which is pretty insane. And you can put more points into having a little less area, but definitely boost the damage that you can do by getting more base critical strike chance inside of the Warpath skill tree, which will definitely boost you. But the fact that there's 3 of us here able to crit for 30k damage means that we're essentially doing 90k damage if it were a single, just one of us. So your single target is actually really powerful in this build. Now, right now we don't have any sigils because we're not getting any kills. What you can do is you can manually cast them just by pushing the button and then going back to warpathing, and then you can get some mana back every 3 seconds, which is how we have it set up. You can see that I have 3 sigils now. You can also lunge. It's really smooth the way you can lunge. I'm going to lunge at the target here. Boom, lunge, and we're already warpathing again. You didn't have to stop warpath to do it. You can just hit lunge while you're warpathing, and it'll use it, which is really nice. Big quality of life there. And look at that, we're back to full mana. Now, when we do lunge, you'll notice that we do get that smite. It comes down. That gives us some additional attack speed, which is really nice. Now, we do lose out on echoes a little bit every time that we restart warpath because you have to wait that 2 seconds of unproc time. But it's not a big deal, and for the movement speed, it's really nice. And as you can see, it's just visually really pleasing, and you can do a lot of damage in a big area. I mean, we're taking up the entire dummy circle of damage here when we have our echoes active. So lots of big damage, lots of big area, really powerful skill, and Anomaly is there to make it even easier on you so that you can have all that extra critical strike chance. Now, you can take the instacast off of Anomaly and manually cast it when you're warpathing. It will delay you a little bit, but that way you would have 6 extra points to build into even more leech to help with your survivability. We are not wearing the Wings of Argentis. You can. That will give you 40% additional damage reduction or multiplicative damage reduction, which will really help with survivability if for some reason you start struggling. We were doing empowered content, no problems. So I don't expect any problems with survivability on this. But if you wanted to push high in the arena, I would put the Wings of Argentis on. Alright, that's going to be it for this build guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, stay safe and enjoy some gameplay.